Is your mobility affecting your golf swing? In this video, I'm going to discuss how a lack of mobility through the thoracic spine can limit your golf posture and in turn affect how you swing the golf club. Specifically, we're going to focus on the thoracic mobility and how the thoracic spine extends and flexes and how this then can impact rotation in the golf swing. As we go into golf posture, it's quite common for golfers to have a really rounded upper spine. Now this can be caused through occupation, so spending a lot of time in a sitting posture like a desk or behind a wheel, and this kind of causes the thoracic spine, which is part of like the rib cage is connected to the actual spine, and how this then changes the position of that spine into a very flexed, rounded shape. If we extend that position, so almost straighten that spine back, sometimes that means that actually having a rounded spinal position in the address isn't such a problem because it shows that we can actually have the freedom to alter and change that position. But if we are in a rounded state and we can't extend and we take the club away, this can then limit the ability to rotate that spine, keep the club on plane and basically get into the position we want to look for. Whereas if we've got a more, what we'll class as like a neutral shape, a neutral posture and do that same position, you can see how straight away there's naturally more rotation through that thoracic spine. The arm can move a little bit more organically into the shape that is traditionally known for a takeaway. If what's just been discussed there resonates with yourself, I'm going to show you 3 key exercises that can help physically develop that area to improve your golf swing. First exercise we're going to focus on is trying to get some mobility and some flexibility through that thoracic spine in an extension motion. So what we need is a bench or a chair, roughly around about knee height would be beneficial. We're going to start in this position, holding a golf club with the elbows at 90 degrees. We're going to sit the bum towards the heels. What we should feel in this position is a stretch predominantly through the lats, a little bit maybe through the triceps, depending on how tight and how inhibited you are in this area. From there, you're going to feel like you push your chest to the floor. So that's almost going to kind of open up that body a little bit more through that thoracic spine. You're going to hold it for 2 to 3 seconds. You're going to come out of it slightly, so you just basically take the stretch off, and we repeat that motion up to 12 repetitions to try and really get some extension and some alteration in that kind of pulling position through the back of that thoracic spine. Now we're going to move on to more of a loaded stretch exercise. So this kind of loaded movement will help take the range of motion beyond its kind of natural state. So it's a more advanced version, but it's a progression off the first exercise as we go through the set. So we're going to lie on the bench, holding the dumbbell in this position, make sure it's fully safe and connected into the wrist. We're going to bring the feet back so they end up on the tiptoes. From there, the lower back will feel like it can kind of lift off the bench quite naturally. We're going to slowly let the dumbbell go overhead. We can have a little bit of elbow flex with this, and then we're going to power straight back up to the top. As we go, we want to almost each rep just feel like we go that little bit further. So you don't need to go 100% range of motion for the first rep, but probably around 70%. And as you feel more comfortable, you find where your tightness is, you should really start to feel these lat muscles starting to stretch and pull, certainly as we get lower to the position. That's why we need to do it with some control going down, because the weight is what's pulling that movement, and then you can come up with some power. If you don't have access to a weight, you can easily use a resistance band with a bit of tension on, holding it in both hands or even a golf club. Even though it won't be quite as beneficial as stretch, it will still give you the same feeling. Finally, we're going to focus on a strengthening exercise that hits the larger range of motion that we've created with the first 2 exercises, so we can get some strength and stability to help the body adapt to what we're asking it to. We're going to go into a seated position with the feet flat to the floor. We're 90-degree angle, so when we put the dumbbells to the side of the body, they should naturally hang underneath. Almost feel like we lean forward from the hips, but at the same time, go more towards that little rounded position that we was talking about of the thoracic spine. The reason being is if we stretch out that area, when we create the motion, that will naturally mean we have to force the weight into that position. So from there, we're going to simply lift the dumbbells, keeping that posture, so we don't lift out of the posture or change shape. We're trying to feel like we essentially get the back of the hands to the ceiling, keeping a little bit of elbow flex naturally. And from that top position, we almost want to feel like we can squeeze the shoulder blades together. We don't necessarily need to pause at the top. That will depend on how much weight we're using, but we should be able to feel like we can almost create that little bit of extension through the shoulder blades and through the spine to get that strength in that new range of motion that we're trying to hit. In this video, I focused on one area of golf posture. There's more limitations throughout the whole body and how this impacts the golf swing mechanics and natural postural state. If you like this video, subscribe to the channel, comment below to let me know how you get on with the exercises.